sweet June 2010. How's everybody doing? Excuse me. What I want to talk about today is I want to talk about. I usually don't like to go into a lot of controversial subjects and everything. I usually try to keep my videos positive, and I like to kind of be neutral on a lot of that stuff, and unless I'm really passionate about what is going on. I know here lately a lot of black men have been getting killed and at the hands of the police and stuff like that, and it's been causing a lot of problems. You know, a lot of black people have been rioting and everything like that, and it's really been a big issue, you know. But what I want to talk about is what's been in the news lately about this mother in Baltimore that went down to where they were rioting at and literally pulled her son out of the riots because he was her 16-year-old son was participating in it, and she seen him down there, and she went over there and she took action, you know, and you know she, you know, pushed him, she hit him, you know, and that was her way of getting him out of there. She did not want her son involved in that, and that was her way of getting him out of there. And she's made a lot of well, you know, somebody videotaped her doing that, you know, getting her son out of the riots, and she's here lately. She's been in the news a lot, you know, and they was talking about, you know, everybody was giving her praise and saying that was well, I won't say everybody, she's getting a lot of praise for getting her son out of it, but but at the same token, she's getting a lot of scrutiny because there's a lot of people are saying she was beating her son, and you know, why is this mom getting praise for beating a black child, and you know, some people saying she's abusing her son and all this kind of stuff, and of course, you know, black women haters on YouTube are coming forth and saying, well, you know, she shouldn't have been hit her son like that and all this stuff, and then they keep talking about the fact that she has 6 kids and all this stuff, which to me, I think that's irrelevant. The fact that she has 6 kids has nothing. Well, what does that have to do with? One has nothing to do with the other, you know. But they're bringing up the fact that she has 6 kids and just trying to make this woman look bad. You know, she went down there as a passionate mom to get her son out of the riots because she did not want her son involved in that. And you know, I really felt like she did something positive. You know, a lot of people felt like she did something positive. I think a lot of mothers should have been out there trying to do the same thing. You have a lot of people, particularly black men that hate black women, you know, coming forth saying, well, she's got 6 kids and all this kind of stuff, you know, want to find something negative. She was abusing him and emasculating him and all this kind of stuff. And she wasn't trying to do all that. She was just trying to get her son out of the riots. He could have been killed. You know, and that's something that people want to. I want people to understand that this young man could have been killed. He could have been killed down there. You know, they interviewed her, and she said she did not want her son to be like the man that got killed. I can't remember his name, but the man that got killed down there. She didn't want him to end up like him, and that's why she. You know, it was a drastic situation that took drastic measures. And she had to do that to get him out of there. You know, this boy is 16 years old. And so she had to do that to get him out of there. Because she said she did not want, that was her only son. Out of 6 kids, that's her only son. And she did not want him down there. And as a mother, you know, I seen that and I looked at that and I said, that's right. You know, because I have 2 sons myself. And, as a mother, I looked at that and I was like, that's right. He know better. You know, and I would have did the same thing. I don't blame her. And that was like the first thing I thought. I was like, yeah, I said, she probably didn't raise him like that, and he probably knew better, and, she did what was right. And the Bible says don't spare the rod, bottom line. It doesn't say if other people are around, don't hit the child. The Bible doesn't say that. The Bible says do not spare the rod. Okay, so she did what she had to do as a mother. She did what she had to do to get him out of that situation. That boy could have lost his life. And and if he had lost his life, then people would have been dogging her out for that. Well, what kind of mother does he have to allow him to go down there like that? See, and it just brings back to my point that I've been making a lot on my videos, is that it just seems like, doesn't matter what a black woman does, she's gonna get scrutinized. It's like it just doesn't see this black woman did something positive. She went down there and she got her son out of that situation. People were down there rioting, they were looting, and the police, they had all kind of policemen down there. They were fully armed. This young man could have been killed. And she went down there and she got her son out of that situation because she did not want her son to get killed. And she did not, one of her interviews, she said that she did not want her son to be involved in that. She said she didn't want him to be involved in that at all, because that's not the answer. And I agree with her 100. As a mother, I have two sons myself, and I have a 15-year-old son. And you know what? As a mother, I would have went down there and I would have did the same thing. I looked at that and I said that looked like something I would have did. Because I would have done basically the same thing. I would have went down there and I would have got his butt right out of there. No, I sure would have. And they was like, well, why is she getting congratulated for beating a black child, this black child, and all this kind of stuff? But nobody says anything if the black child gets killed by the police officers. Then then they're making up 50 million excuses why he got killed. Well, maybe he was resisting arrest, or maybe he was doing this and that or the other. But then people want to have something to say when his mother goes down there and hits him and attempts to get him out of there. Why is that? If it had been the cop beating him upside the head, then, he was down there rioting. He deserved that. Where was his mother? His mother should have been down there. If she had a raising right, then he wouldn't have been down there in the first place. That's what people would have been saying. Okay, had the cop been beating him upside the head. See, it would have been okay for the cop to beat him upside the head, but it's not okay for his mom to beat him upside the head in attempts to save his life and let him know that this is not the way we solve problems. Okay, me and my son, we had my 15-year-old son. I try to keep an open line of communication with my son, and we had a discussion about it, and he said that they showed him the news in the school in his class, and they talked about it. And he said, he agreed with it. He said he agreed with her, that she was trying to get her son out of there. And I told him straight up, I said, if that was you, I would have did the same thing. I said, because you know better. I said, you know better than to be getting involved in something like that. And that's not the way we solve problems. We don't solve problems by looting and rioting and all this kind of stuff. And I'm a Jehovah's Witness, so we don't even believe in picketing. We don't believe in picketing and doing protests and things like that. So I'm not raising my son that way. I'm not raising him. That's not the way you solve problems. You don't solve problems like that, and it's not the answer. Those people were down there rioting. They were causing a lot of problems. And her son was being part of the problem. He wasn't being part of the solution. So she went down there, and there was a drastic situation, and it took drastic measures. And that was her way of trying to get her son out of a drastic situation, because she did not want to see her son dead, like the victim that they're down there writing about. And so I've seen a couple of interviews that she did, and that's what she said. She said, bottom line, I just did not want my son to get killed. She loves her son. That's her only son, and she don't want her son to get killed. If her son had been murdered, then they would have been like, well, where was his mama? Well, you know, she would have got scrutinized for how she was raising him and questioned about how she was raising him. You know, it's like, this seems like black women can't do anything right. It's like we do something positive, we get scrutinized. We're gonna get scrutinized anyway. And of course, you know, Tommy Sotomayor, he jumps on the bandwagon, of course, and he puts his little 2 cents in. He does a video, and he puts his little 2 cents in, saying, you know, she's beating him and all this kind of stuff, because he's going to find something negative about, because he bashes black women. That's his MO, and he likes to bash black women, and he's making a lot of money on YouTube bashing black women. So, you know, he's going to say something negative about it, you know, but it's a lot of other people as well that's coming forth and saying, oh, well, why is it being celebrated that she's beaten? It wasn't the fact that she was down there trying to beat him. She wasn't trying to humiliate him. She was just trying to get him out of that situation. She didn't want to see him get killed. And it was a drastic situation that called for drastic measures. And she did what she had to do as a mother. As a mother of 2 sons myself, I would have done the same thing. Because I would have been looking at it like this: you didn't have no business down there in the first place, because I didn't raise you that way. I'm not raising my sons to go down and riot. If something like that was to happen in my town where I live, where a black man got killed, and they started doing that here, I don't want my sons in it. I don't want my oldest son in it, and I don't want my youngest son in it. Okay? Because first of all, I didn't raise them that way. That's not the way we solve problems. Second of all, I don't want them like that mother. I'm thinking like her. I don't want my sons to get killed. I don't want anything to happen to them. You know, people don't understand the mentality of a mother. You know, people just don't get it. It's like when you're a mother, you know, you carry these kids in your body. You know, a bond that a mother and child has, it's like a bond like no other relationship. It's an unshakable bond. And it's like, you know, these are your babies. It's like I look at my son, you know, I have a 25-year-old son, and I look at him and I still look at him as my baby. Same with my 15-year-old. He's my baby. You know, yeah, you know, he may be grown. My 25-year-old son may be grown, but in my eyes, he'll always be my baby. My other son, he'll always be my baby. I'm looking at them like my 2 babies. They're my 2 babies, and in my eye, no matter how old they get, they're gonna always be my babies. And I'm gonna always want to protect them. That is a motherly instinct. It is a motherly instinct to want to protect her children. It's just when you think about the animal kingdom and how the mother lion or whatever the species of the animal, when she has her young, she will kill another animal in efforts to protect those young, to protect her young, and that's in the animal kingdom. So that is a motherly instinct. She acted on instinct. She went out there as a mother and she acted on instinct, and she went out there to do anything she could to protect her son. You know, this is her baby. She said it was her only son. She didn't want to see him dead. And everybody is criticizing her because she went upside his head. Well, you know what? He didn't have no business doing what he was doing. He didn't have no business down there doing what he was doing. Okay? And the Bible says, do not spare the rod. It didn't say if somebody else is around, then, you know, you don't hit the child. The Bible doesn't say that. The Bible's very clear. It says, do not spare the rod. Okay? Bottom line. And that is the problem with society. You know, it's like they want to put their little 2 cents in to say, well, we can't hit our kids, but then when the child is not disciplined and the child goes out here and does something, you know, then they're questioning that and say, well, where's his mother? Well, what kind of upbringing did he have? You know, well, what kind of raising did he have? The first person that gets blamed is mama. If the child goes out there and does something they didn't have no business doing, the first person that gets blamed is mama. It's never daddy. Daddy doesn't get blamed. Mama gets blamed. You know, daddy might have never been in the picture. Daddy might have walked out on the child. But when that child does something, 9 times out of 10, it's mama is the one that gets blamed. See, mama gets blamed for everything. See, and and so she did what she had to do, and I'm in 100% of agreement in what she did. Because when I first seen it on the news, I was like, I know that's right. I would have did the same thing. I don't blame her. I would have did the same thing. You know, I said because she probably figured he didn't have no business down there in the first place. And that's what I would have been saying if it was my son. I would have been like, you ain't had no business down there in the first place. You know, I ain't teach you like that. I'm not raising my sons to riot. I'm not raising neither one of I didn't raise neither one of my sons to riot. That is not the way we solve problems. We don't solve problems like that. And people want to dog her for being a single mother. Oh, she's got 6 kids by different men. And first of all, how do you know they're by different men? It's like they're speculating. They don't even hardly know anything about this woman. You know, and so what if she has 6 kids? You're not taking care of them. You know, it's like I figure what does her having 6 kids have to do with her going down there being a mom and showing some love and concern for her son and taking her son out of those riots? He was being part of the problem. He wouldn't be part of the solution. You know, those people were down there doing some horrific things. They were looting. The guy was down there cutting the hoses when they were trying to put out fires. He was down there cutting hoses. They was doing all kind of stuff down there. See, and those cops could have got to a place to where they was tired, and they could have got to the place where they started taking drastic measures, and it could have been some killings going on down there. That child could have been killed, or he could have been severely beaten by the police. You know, and she went down there to prevent that out of love and concern for her son. And the fact that she's getting scrutinized for this is just crazy. But it just seems like I said, it goes back to what I'm saying, a black woman can't never do nothing right. Even if a black woman is doing something positive, people look down on that. You know, specifically certain particular, I'm not going to say all black men because there's a lot of black men out here that love black women, but I'm talking about, you know, they know who I'm talking about. You know, the black men that like to bash black women and like to hate on black women. You know, they want to see fault in everything that a black woman does. And, you know, I'm here to say that I agree with her 100%. And she, as a mother, I have 2 sons myself. I totally understand. And she did what she had to do. You know, and that's what I wanted to talk about. That's my view on it, and that's my take. And, you know, like I said, the scriptures say what it says. It says don't spare the rod, and that's exactly what she did. She didn't spare the rod. Okay, so all this other stuff is neither here or there. You know, the bottom line is she did what she had to do as a mother. And this is the reason why she was getting praised, because and then people try to accuse her of doing it for publicity. She didn't. She was a mother acting on instinct. I'm sure she wasn't even thinking about getting so many thousands of hits on YouTube when she did that. She was acting on instinct. I would have did the same thing. If that was me, I would have done the same thing. So she was acting on instinct to try to protect her son. You know, as mothers, I don't care what nobody say. We love our sons. And there's a lot of good black mothers out there that love our sons, and we don't want to see them dead, or we don't want to see them in prison. So, despite what anybody else says and what anybody else thinks. Okay, you know, that's just my take on it. You know, and that's what I feel, you know, in my heart and my mind, she did the right thing. Okay, sweet June 2010.